Welcome to our second Masterclass Snapshot. This week it was really all about customer focused. So how can you name your business so that it's customer friendly, how you can draw up a customer persona, as well as how you can create a value proposition that is really compelling for your potential customers. So let's start with naming your business. So when you're thinking about naming your business, make sure that you have a name that's easy to spell. Because if people find it easy to spell, they'll be able to type it into Google and find your website. If they can't spell it correctly, then they won't be able to do this and they won't be able to find you. The second one is find a name that's easy to pronounce. So if you have a name that isn't easy to pronounce, then customers won't be able to talk about it, your particular product or service, with their friends, because they might be too embarrassed to mispronounce your name. The third one is to make sure that you can get the domain and social media handles for your particular business name. So if you can't get the domain as it is, then you've got a bit of a challenge ahead of you. It can be tempting to do a bit of a domain hack, such as if you have an app calling it xyzapp.com.au, but this actually makes it quite challenging again for customers to find you. Also make sure that you can get your social media handles, and it's the best if you can get the same handle for all of your different social medias. Having different combinations for the different channels can again make it difficult for your customers to tag you. The last one is make sure that you can get to #1 on Google pretty easily. So if you haven't already, type your business name into Google and see what comes up. If there are 5 other businesses with similar sounding names, then this could be a challenge for you to get to the top of that list. If there is nothing that really comes up that has a similar sounding name, then you're pretty much in the clear. So next we wanted to talk about value propositions. And what a value proposition is the benefits that you will give to your particular customer segment or particular customer group. So there are 3 types of elements that make up a value proposition. The first is something called jobs to be done. Now this is a bit of a funny name, but it's a theory by a Harvard professor called Clayton Christensen, and it's something that's really been adopted worldwide as best practice for value propositions. And what this theory really says is that customers don't buy a product or service. They hire it to do a particular job for them. So a bit wordy, a bit confusing, but let's use an example. So say a customer is buying a drill. Instead of actually buying the drill, what the customer is doing is hiring a drill so that they can make a hole. So the outcome that they're looking for is making a hole. So if you could come up with any other way that a customer could make a hole, then that customer might also buy that particular product or service. So it's really about what job or end outcome is the customer hoping to get. The next one is pain. So a pain is anything that challenges, frustrates or inhibits your particular customer from achieving the job or the outcome that they want to get done. So say if you have a job or outcome that's up here, there might be a pain that actually stops them from getting that complete outcome done. So ideally what you want to do is have something that is really intense and really frequent, and you want a pain that is up here. So something that is really, really frustrating and something that happens all the time. If you can solve that for your particular customers, then you'll have something that they're willing to pay for. Conversely, we've got gains. So these are those additional cherry on top kind of benefits that you can give your customers. So again, if we think about the job up here, a pain stops them from getting that job done. A gain is anything that goes over and above for your particular customer. So ideally, you want a gain that is significant, so big in size, but also that they can feel immediately. And again, you want to be up in the top corner here. So if you can give a big gain to your customers in a way that they feel that gain almost instantly, then again, you'll have something really compelling to your customers. So there are 3 kind of elements that you can think about when creating your particular value proposition for your customers. What job or outcome are you hoping to get done? What pains can you eliminate from them using your particular product or service? And what gains or additional benefits can you give them? Next, we want to go through customer personas. And here it's really important that you understand that there could be multiple customers that you might have for your particular product or service. So you might have a primary customer. So this is the largest group of customers that you have, and these people give you the majority of your income. You might have a secondary group, so the next level down, they're the next biggest group that give you the next biggest bucket of dollars. Tertiary, so even further down than that, and growth. So this is looking at adjacent markets or future types of customers that you might want to target. So they're on your radar, but they're not somebody that you're particularly speaking to at the moment. So it's important that you know who your different types of customers are, because the message that you might send to these people might be completely different. And if you're just spreading generic messages out to everybody, then you're not necessarily talking loudly or clearly to any particular one of those people. So understand who your particular groups are that you're speaking to. And by group, we mean a group of people who exhibit similar kinds of traits, similar characteristics, similar buying patterns for your particular product or service. So once you've identified those different types of groups or segments that you're targeting, what you want to do is actually bring those to life in the form of an example person who, if you plucked out one person from that group, this would be a pretty typical type of person. And once you can actually understand who they are, how they think, where they go to get information, you'll be able to create marketing material that better speaks to them. So when you're creating these kind of personas or these kinds of descriptions of your customers, there's three things that you want to keep in mind. Firstly, there's demographics. So how old are they? Where do they live? What type of job do they have? What's their salary? Are they married? Do they have kids? Have they gone to school or university? Those kind of more general types of description elements. Then you have psychographic. So this is understanding them a little bit more deeply. So what kinds of books or music do they like? Do they like eating out? What types of food do they like? What types of media or entertainment do they read? Where do they go to get information? And then lastly, it's mindset. So really thinking about their personality. So what type of person are they? Are they introverted? Are they extroverted? Do they have a good sense of humour? Are they risk takers? And how do they feel about your particular product or service? So hopefully between naming, value propositions and customer personas, you can really start thinking about marketing your particular product or service a lot more effectively. That's it for today, and we'll see you for our third masterclass soon.